It is time for This Week in Location-Based Marketing, episode number 36, recorded live between Asif Khan and myself on Monday, August 1st, 2011. And this is what we're going to label, I suppose we got to call this the deal episode. Daily deals, whatever you want to call it. It's the deal episode.
Yep.
My name is Rob Woodbridge from Untether.tv, one of your intrepid hosts on this great journey that we are taking. And with me always from Toronto, Ontario, Canada is
Asif Khan from the Location-Based Marketing Association.
Found at thelbma.com or at thelbma on Twitter, or Asif R. Khan on Twitter, on the Twitter sphere. And of course, you can find me at Rob Woodbridge on Twitter as well. That's enough. We are going to be talking today about Groupon and Foursquare and Rogers, my gosh, and some deals. The most deals we've seen in a while, at least that we're reporting on. Great resources, decoding something or other from the LBMA event last week, and a bunch of other stuff as we get into this right away. Asif, what a week. How was the event?
The event was great. I mean, we to put on an event in the middle of the summer indoors on a hot night in Toronto. I was quite pleased. We had a ton of people out and great panel discussion, great research, great questions from the audience. All in all, a great meeting, and it's evidenced by people stuck around until we got kicked out by the building folks, long after the meeting was done. So I think it went really well.
Well, I've heard great things, obviously, from Doug, and who was obviously there as the moderator for the panel. And I'm upset that I couldn't make it, but I was enjoying my dinner overlooking Toronto from the CN Tower at the same time as you guys were sweltering. It was a hot day in Toronto.
That it was.
Yes, it's hard to compete with the patios, but it sounds like it was a great event, and we're going to touch on some of the research that was presented there as our resource of the week later on in the show. But first of all, this is the deal show. I don't know how this happens. Everybody is clamoring for location-based deals, and this all of a sudden, this past week seems to have actually materialized that every single story that we've got is around deals. So let's start with the biggest one that was announced, kind of a no-brainer and a yawner from the follow-on conversation we had last week about Foursquare and Groupon.
Yeah, so it's only been a few weeks when Foursquare announced that they were going to try and figure out how to make some money for a change, and that was partner up with the daily deal sites, and they announced a big list of organizations from Living Social to Buy With Me to Guilt City and a bunch of others, and so they had this whole big list going. And they said, okay, now when you check in or you explore, we're going to expose these daily deals from these partners to you, and you can take advantage of them, and Foursquare would get a cut of the revenue off of that. And when we talked about it back then, the one thing that was missing was Groupon wasn't in the list of partners. And so the announcement this week is, as of actually yesterday, I believe, Groupon's deals are now available via Foursquare check-ins and exploring across the U.S. and Canada. So there you go. So Groupon plus Foursquare.
So who is this a big deal for?
Well, I think it's a big deal for Groupon in the sense that their Groupon now, their location-based mobile offers was limited to just Chicago.
Right.
That's kind of been their testing ground where they're based. And if you wanted to participate in that and you were a big fan of Groupon, you couldn't do it. And so, Groupon's been partnering with a bunch of companies, but, I think Foursquare, the user base of Foursquare, it being a mobile application, being a smartphone app, kind of exposes Groupon to a different audience that may not have been, previously subscribed to Groupon. So I think that's one. I think for Foursquare, there's huge value here because, as I just said, Foursquare is trying to figure out how do we make money. And, we know Groupon makes lots of money. I'm not going to say they're profitable. I say they make a lot of money. They generate a lot of revenue, put it that way. And so now some of that revenue is going to go to Foursquare and some of their other affiliate partners. So, I think this is a good deal for both sides, actually.
Yeah, and, certainly it's a coup for a company like Foursquare that has 10 million users compared to the hundreds of millions of users that Groupon does have. It's kind of like an insignificant speck compared to the reach that Groupon does have, but it seems to be significant for Foursquare, I'd say, to get that validity. And now they have all of the major, group buying, couponing networks embedded inside of Foursquare. So good for them. It was just kind of rounding out that the offering. They got the big guy.
Yeah, and apparently the deal's been in the works for some time, so maybe they just couldn't get it done, when they made the announcement, a month ago with the other guys.
Or more likely it was that Groupon said, no, we want a separate announcement.
Yeah, more than likely. There is also some rumors out there now, with Groupon, filing for their IPO and whatnot. There are some rumors, some discussion that Groupon's looking to buy Foursquare. We'll see where that goes. It's only rumor at this point.
Rumors and speculation. I love it. But you know what? It is August. We got a number of months left. It's the year of consolidation. I can see that happening. But it's just a rumor right now.
Yeah.
So Groupon partnering with Foursquare finally, rounding out that. I think there's now 5 or 6 major group buying or couponing services that are now integrated into Foursquare, and we'll see how that goes. Obviously, it's going to be a marriage made in heaven because they're both looking for the outlets that they've just received. Second story. Listen, I mean, I like hype. I'm a guy who likes hype. But how many times have we heard that the ultimate shopping app, which is what Ping for Deals has been labeled here? So let's talk about this. Ping for Deals. Ping 4 launches Ping for Deals, and they call it literally the ultimate shopping app.
Yeah, this is one of those ones where I don't hold out a lot of hope that this thing's going to be successful.
But Asif, this is the ultimate shopping app. The ultimate
shopping app, and it's so ultimate. It's iPhone only. We'll start with that. So no Android, no BlackBerry, nothing other than iPhone, which is a significant portion of the user base. So what is Ping for Deals? Ping for Deals is like every other mobile deal app, except it is the ultimate. It finds the deals wherever you are. So instead of you being in Chicago or in Toronto or New York or wherever you are and getting the deals for that city, when you travel, when you're on the move, when you're in other places, it'll also bring you deals there. Apparently, this is a big problem because people are looking for deals when they're on the go, and Ping for Deals is trying to address it. Now, the one saving grace I will say for these guys is their business model. So, apparently, they're targeting the 100 largest global retailers. So, because nobody else is. So we'll start with that. That's what the press release says. And these retailers would pay a license fee of $100 per store. Okay, and that's it. So a flat fee. I'm hearing a little bit of the chalkboard discussion that we were talking about in Singapore and them coming to the U.S. Flat fee. Disruptive. Seems to be a trend now. There's two trend. I don't know, guys. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyways.
So so this basically just wakes up the phone when it's within a proximity to a deal that you've signed up for, obviously, and it kind of gives you it basically gives you an alert when you're within 5 miles by
25 miles.
25 miles?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it I mean, this is just basically geofencing, isn't it?
It's geofencing. I mean, they have a nice little feature in this. I don't want to totally blow these guys out of the water, but so they have this vision of the world where I'm driving around. I drive inside this radius of 25 miles. I've set it to send me deals, and while I'm driving, because they built this special feature with text to voice, so it's basically going to receive the deal and then
shout it out to me.
Shout it out over the speakerphone in my car to say no, redirect your route here because there's a deal.
Go left, go left, go left. No, you missed it, dummy. That's what it's going to say, right? And that would be funny.
I don't know.
Well, yeah. So this is a solution that's global retailers, really with a huge focus on large chains, and they say it won't impact gross margins give them full control over branding, marketing, and advertising, and they scale globally overnight. And this is the ultimate shopping app by Ping for Deals.
Yeah.
Called Ping for Deals by Ping4. Well, you know, I'm not going to... this is a gold rush, right? It just seems like... or a land rush, and I think that everybody's trying things.
Everybody's got to get into this daily deal thing, you know, or local deals. Yeah.
So you can find more information if you're interested in Ping at Ping4, the number 4, ping4deals.com. And it is the ultimate shopping app. Don't forget that. The ultimate shopping app. All right, Ping for Deals, ping4deals.com. Hey, here's some Canadian news. We love it. Well, Canada, Mr. Rogers, Mr. Ted Rogers' company, Rogers up here in Canada, actually getting into a daily deal service.
There you go. Yeah, so I've got a bit of good and a lot of bad to say about this. So I'll start with that. So I seem to be really negative today, and I apologize for that, Rob, but it's just the stories. So Rogers, you know, one of the big 3 carriers in Canada, gets in the daily deal service, and by the way, the other 2 are not in it yet.
But we would expect that at some point soon we will see Bell and TELUS getting engaged here.
Yeah, and so here's the thing. So the good is that, as you know, Rob, I've said many times, I think the real winners in this space, you know, in the long run, are going to be the carriers, and it's the carriers that have that relationship with the trusted customer relationship. They have that ability to drive deals. They have the ability to charge customers on their bills, on their cellular bills, all that kind of stuff. And so they're a logical, you know, player in the ecosystem to do this. And so, you know, I give Rogers credit for trying. What I don't like is that they've basically said, hey, we're going to go do this on our own. We're not going to try and use PlaceCast technology or anything else like that. We're just going to do this. And so I was sitting with a group of guys over lunch last week as this service launched, the day after this service launched. And we're sitting there and we said, okay, and we were talking about daily deal stuff, and we were talking about this Rogers thing. We said, let's try it right then and there. So one of the guys at the table basically, you know, loaded it up, you know, went to go and get the deal, texted to join the service. You text to join. Okay, so first of all, you start by texting to join the service.
Yeah.
Then it comes up and says, here's the deal. But here's the silliest part about it. So you say, okay, that deal's interesting. I want to buy it. You can't buy it by simply texting now. You then have to, here, check this out. You then have to click on something. It takes you to a mobile website link, okay? And then you basically, once you're on the mobile web page, then you can buy, okay? Then it gets added to your cellular bill. And then later on, you know, sometime later on, if enough people have bought the deal, then it sends you basically a JPEG with a code, like a barcode to scan, okay? And the best part of it is like a QR code. The best part of it is he got the thing the next day and emailed it to all of us who were having lunch, right?
Yeah.
And so two things that were interesting about this. One is all of us scanned the QR code with our phones, okay, from the email that he forwarded on to us, and it was hacked. It was hacked. It was redirected to a YouTube video.
What? Oh no!
Yeah. So I don't know if this is intentional. I highly doubt it's intentional that Rogers would, you know, be that creative in their marketing to do something really viral and crazy like send it to
your
a YouTube
friend
video.
paid for it?
Huh?
He paid for it?
Yeah. He paid for it. He bought it, and got the thing. Second thing is, okay, so there was the guy who actually bought it and downloaded it, myself and another guy who were at this lunch. So the other guy lives in the area of the local merchant that supplied the deal. It was a yogurt place, and so he basically printed out the thing that our friend had bought, took it to the store, and actually redeemed it.
No.
He redeemed it, and because the person working the cash said, well, yeah, we know about this thing, but I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with it, and she just wrote down something in a book, and that was the end of it.
Oh no.
So there was actually no scanning. There was nothing. So again, I love the fact that Rogers is in the space, because I think, every carrier should be in this space. I think they're the ones that can really drive this in many ways.
Right.
But, do it right, people. Do it right. Don't just throw something out there for the sake of throwing something out there. So that's all I got to say about Rogers' daily deal service.
Well, it doesn't surprise me that they haven't gotten it right. It doesn't surprise me that they haven't thought this through completely. But I'm shocked to think that I can buy one coupon and then all of us can redeem it. It becomes a viral thing that's going to put.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's not the not going to be the norm at every merchant that's using it. I think it's just that particular merchant. The people weren't trained as to what to do when somebody walked in with this thing.
Well, that's their fault.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that's not Rogers' fault. I'm just saying. Yeah.
But the great thing about this is, aside from the process that you go through, I agree with you, is that, the carrier owning that with a cashless transaction and no worry about actually having to print off a coupon, but I suppose that's what happens here, is really the be-all and the end-all. Because Rogers, as we said, is the largest carrier in Canada. And to be able to tap into that resource that we've talked about forever, which is the users for the carrier, without any, in theory, without any pain or with a really easy to use system, will be very effective for this. But Rogers, a couple of steps away, I'd say.
Anyhow, glad they're in the market. Fix the problems and go in and do it, please.
Rogers getting into the daily deal service. Our fourth story is good for Rogers, good for Canada, but just get it right. Continue to get it right. So our fourth story is what is it? Gannet expands DealChicken.
Yeah. So strange name, DealChicken. I'm not sure who came up with that one. So Gannet, Gannet is Gannet. They're one of the largest, print media organizations in the world. Actually, more than print media companies in the world. They own TV stations as well. And most notably, they own USA Today. Along with
small company.
81 other newspapers in the U.S. So these guys are huge. And so, when you talk about daily deal services, the key to success is scale, right? And so, why does Rogers, make sense as a provider of that service? Because they have scale. Why does sticking with Toronto, why does WagJag and ShopCatch, the two daily, mobile shopping and daily deal services, that are big in Canada, owned by Torstar Corporation, makes sense because they have scale. And scale means they have distribution, they have large sales teams that can go and sell those deals. Why does Groupon work? Because they've got 3,000 people sitting in a room, on the phone, calling companies and doing deals. So, Gannet has that capability. Gannet has that scale, and so this is simply an update. DealChicken's been out for a while. Apparently it's going to be in 50 cities by the end of the year. So there you go. That's really all I got to say about it.
I wonder. Are we at a threshold here for these daily deals? Can all of these companies make money doing this? And if I was a merchant, what are my choices now? I've got 30, 50, 100 of these, 1,000 of these companies that are offering this. How do these guys make any money, and how do the merchants decide which to use? Are we at that point now, Asif?
I think what's going to happen is you're going to see between now and the end of the year, the big guys are all rolling out or expanding their services. Whether it's Gannet, whether it's Torstar, whether it's Groupon, White Pages we talked about the other week, whoever it is, these big guys are rolling out. They have scale, they have distribution, they have money, and so. Either the little guys, the Ping for Deals and all these kinds of guys are either just going to disappear, or they've got enough market share in a particular city or geographic area, that they make sense to be acquired by one of the big guys that just wants, distribution all over the place. And I think that's just what's going to happen. You're going to see consolidation and death.
Consolidation and death.
For a lot of these little guys.
That is the name of this episode: consolidation and death. Absolutely. But it's a funny thing because a lot of these guys are niche players, but AT&T hasn't stepped into this really deeply yet, and a lot of the U.S. carriers haven't stepped into this, and I can see a lot of them playing catch up and buying, for example, ping for deals or in the localized spots. But man, as a merchant trying to figure this all out, you're going to gravitate towards the big guys. When Rogers or when somebody else, when O2 comes to you, versus ping for deals, who are you going to pick, right?
Well, there's no question, and even if you're a big multi-location retailer or franchise chain or whatever, I mean, the reality is that you're not going to go with some little company, some no-name company. You want security. You want to know the company is going to be around in 2 years, and at the end of the day, the carriers in particular have a lot of other power, that they can wield. And I'll give you a great example. I ran a Wi-Fi company, a few years ago, and was out trying to put Wi-Fi into, franchise quick serve restaurant chains and so on and so forth. When you go and pitch at McDonald's, and I'm not saying I did this, but when you go pitch at McDonald's, and you're out there, even if you have a better product, a better service offering, a better price, it doesn't mean you're going to win.
Yeah.
Right? Because at the end of the day, a carrier could come in and say, look, we can give you all of that, and we're going to give it to you for nothing. We're going to give it to you for free, but we're going to give you a free Wi-Fi, but we want you to use our IP, phone systems.
Yeah.
Or we want you to use this, this other product from us, or this, this other, whatever. And so they end up doing deals that you can't compete with because you're not in those other businesses.
They have clout.
And that's just the reality. And I think that's what's going to happen to a lot of these little companies.
Well, it's certainly the spark of innovation is there, but now it's time to differentiate or die. But I like that consolidation or death. Consolidation and death, that's on the horizon. Wow, this is morbid for August 1st. Let's get back. Come on. All right, well, our last story is a YFind launching in Singapore.
YFind.
Yes.
YFind, that's just letter Y, find. It's a mobile app, uses Wi-Fi to detect the position of mobile device. So we're back to indoor GPS, kind of indoor location. And so this is all about shopping malls and large retail properties in Singapore. I like the way these guys describe it. They call it making buildings location intelligent.
Nice.
So it's not about the app. It's not about the people. It's making the building intelligent.
Does that mean that the building realizes where it is? Oh Christ! I'm in the middle of Detroit. What am I doing here? I fell asleep in Chicago, and I'm in Detroit. What?
I don't want to be here.
How did I get here?
Yeah, but it is an interesting way to look at it, and but it does all the usual things. It lets the customer find where the bathrooms are, where the ATMs are, where the body shop store is, where the whatever, right? So. And it's all about contextual, real-time deals based on where you are in the mall. It is quite strong from what I understand on the data side in terms of the analytics and data that it collects. So it does look at foot traffic and where people are actually going to and from in the mall, shopping behaviors, time spent in particular areas. So it is heavy on that. So I really like that because I love analytics, and I think that's something that agencies and brands, are really hungry for. So, I think there's some value there. So, if you're in Singapore, check out YFind.
It's interesting. If you've ever been to a mall in Singapore, this is something that's desperately needed. Simply because Singapore is a developed nation. It's a developed country, and it's massive. But the malls are huge. Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially coming from Canada anyways. We don't have massive malls like that. I mean, it's bigger than the Eaton Center. It's bigger than anything that you've ever seen before, and to get lost in there. So YFind launches in Singapore. That's great. And I think that this is an industry that I think that there are so many malls and so many opportunities and so many localized companies like these guys that you can make a living doing this. But again, consolidation is going to happen at some point.
Right.
So those are the 5 stories. We got Groupon and Foursquare finally getting in bed together. PingForDeals.com. We've got Rogers launching their daily deal service. We've got Gannet expanding their DealChicken service, and we've got YFind launching in Singapore. YFind launching in Singapore. Five location deal news items. Unbelievable. And we are in August 1st. Well, it was busy anyways. Well, we'll jump right into some funding because there's a lot of funding news as well for some reason. But let's first this shady or unknown company called Zappedy that Groupon bought. What is this? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. I mean, all we can tell you is what we read, which is Groupon bought Zappedy. It's a mystery company. Apparently, they paid about $10.3 million according to SEC filings. And the one little description that I saw out there says, Zappedy started off helping small merchants to easily create websites and advertise online through social media and daily deals. So who knows who these guys are? But apparently, they're now part of Groupon after $10.3 million buckaroonies.
It's funny, is that because this was only brought up because of their SEC filing, right? It was right in the SEC filing. So who knows what that is? My guess, it's a holding company for somebody from the Groupon, executives that they just had to clean up. That's my guess.
Who knows?
Yeah. Well, okay. Groupon buys Zappedy. Company called Location-Based Technologies, raising $10 million.
Great name.
Yeah. It's like, no kidding. Location-Based Technologies, Inc.
Location-Based Technologies, Inc. They're based in Irvine, California.
And what do they do? They're a gem importer, right?
What's that?
They're a gem importer with that name.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So these guys are a public company. Apparently, there was a private placement of about 50 million shares of its common stock. So that's at 20 cents a share. Some big bucks, $10 million. And And the description on their public, the public description of the company is that these guys develop leading-edge personal locator GPS devices and services that incorporate patented proprietary technologies. Wow, that's like really, really unique. And their website, I love it. It's not Location-Based Technologies Inc. It's PocketFinder.com.
It's PocketFinder.com.
Yeah. So check them out. PocketFinder.com.
PocketFinder.com. Yeah.
GPS locator devices for people, pets, and vehicles. So these guys are all about personal GPS.
So tagging. I mean, I like that. There's always that promise, right? That there was that I'd be able to affix something to my kid and never lose it.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Well,
$10 million to do it better and more.
I don't mind that because you know what I've had animals with chips in them, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to come to a point in time where we're going to have that option when your child is born if we want a chip inserted into them.
Yeah,
it's going to be, and these guys are right there. So Location-Based Technologies Inc. raises $10 million to insert chips into your children.
Let's do it.
Right. Third deal, which is a Toronto deal, which is Locationary. Raises,
so Locationary is a great little company in Toronto. These guys are all about having the best and the most data about places, place data, and other data around those places. So phone numbers and websites and all that other stuff. And they've done it in a kind of an interesting model. If you're not familiar with this company, they have a kind of a consumer incentive model to basically collecting this data and making sure it's clean and accurate. And so basically there's kind of a game mechanics around it. So what happens is that a business listing goes in as basic information, and it's put in by a consumer or it's put in by the business, and then consumers basically register with the system, and they can go out and they can verify that the information is accurate. If they verify that, they get paid a certain amount of micro currency to do so. And then if somebody else comes into the system and finds that information that was previously verified by one consumer is not accurate or something's different, they get paid a little bit more, and the other person's bank account goes down a little bit. So there's this little up and down interesting gaming mechanics around always making sure that you have the most accurate data.
Nice.
So these guys just got a little bit of money.
Well, they get $2.5 million. That's a good amount. Hopefully, they can use it to good.
I think so. And great team, by the way. Grant over there, who's their CEO, and Dan Servos, who's with them as well. Who used to be with Social Deck that Google bought a while ago. Great team. Yeah, great team.
Well, I should have them onto Untether.tv now that they're stinking rich.
You should.
The last deal that we found, there's many more, and every time we looked at deals, there was another one that we saw. This is a company called ThinkNear.
Yes.
And this is a company that's I'm actually going to be interviewing next week for Untether.tv. Eli Portnoy, who is the CEO and founder, is who I'm going to be interviewing. So look for that in the coming weeks about this company. I like this concept. Helping companies. They raised $1.6 million, and their investors are great because it's I think it's Google Ventures, IA Ventures, Google Ventures, Metamorphic, Qualcomm, FF Ventures, and Real Ventures, which is based out of Montreal, and a couple of other ones. But what they do is it's a neat concept. Is that they help drive foot traffic to your store during downtime. So you say like I'm not busy here. I want to offer this deal, and I want to drive activity coming at this 4:00 on a Tuesday afternoon. Is our downtime, and I want to drive foot traffic there. So they push deals out at specific times to drive activity to your store when you have no one in there.
Yeah. No, I think the concept of doing that I think is great, and there's a bunch of other daily deal services. Some of the smaller ones that we mentioned a while ago, like Social Select.
Yep.
It's closely, the Level Up also has that capability of kind of the merchant basically saying, hey, right now I'm going to run this deal over the next hour because it's downtime for me or whatever.
Even GeoToco can do that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, ThinkNear, $1.6 million.
Yeah.
And that's it's a good enough round. And if you're interested in understanding what it is that they do and getting a little bit of behind the scenes, I implore you, keep checking on Tether.tv because I'll have the interview up in a matter of weeks. It only takes me 9 or 10 weeks to edit the videos. That's it. I think that's it for
just one more because since we're on the deal episode here. There was one other little deal, and Google acquired a company called the Deal Map for a bunch of money as well. The amount wasn't disclosed, but the Deal Map itself is interesting in that it's a deal site, 2 million users, and they've only been around since May of last year, so not even that long. So good for them; they're not part of Google. 2 million users, it just strikes me that there are a lot of these companies that are just like 2 million users, which is a lot to me. But I guess that's the threshold. Wow, busy deal week, and I'm going to assume that it's just going to accelerate starting. We're in the summer, dead heat summer time. Yeah, the next few weeks are going to be interesting, I think.
Wow, and especially as Groupon ramps up for an IPO, and then starts buying. That's the guess. So those 5 deals, Groupon buying Zappedy, location-based Technologies Inc. raising $10 million, Locationary, Toronto, Ontario, Canada company raising $2.5, ThinkNear, $1.6, and Deal Maps getting bought by Groupon, or getting bought by Google for an undisclosed amount. Busy week.
Busy week.
On to the product, man. On to the product. of the week.
Yeah. Yeah, so the product this week is one that we really just want to give a shout out to. It's Offered Local found at offeredlocal.com. And these guys are, they've been around for a while now. And what I like about them, they're based out of Boston, is that they're really all about, empowering the small business, restaurateur, retailer, marketer that basically wants to promote their business. Whether it's deals or whatever it is you want to promote, you can do that, based on your physical location, but also it's directly connected to Facebook and Twitter. So the promotion of those deals are all happening through, social media channels, but also, connected with location. So it connects Facebook, connects Twitter, it connects check-in platforms like Foursquare, and ties it all together. So in some respects, like PlaceCast, not PlaceCast, Place Punch that we talked about way back when. By bringing the social media tools alongside the check-in tools. But great little service. So I would check it out. Offeredlocal.com.
Offeredlocal.com. Yeah, big supporter of what we're doing here. So we support those who support us.
Yes.
Does that make us elitist?
No, I don't know.
Of course it does. Offeredlocal.com. We love you guys. Thank you for supporting us on Untether.tv. All right, resource. Dun dun dun. This obviously from the LBMA event last week in Toronto. Decode was there, offering up some nuggets.
Yeah, so Decode is a local market research company, and they presented the kind of high level findings from a new report. This is a Canadian report called "Decoding Location-Based Marketing: A Check-in on Check-ins." And so I won't go into a lot of details, but we presented this, or Dennis Hancock from Decode presented this last Tuesday at our event in Toronto. And the report, what he presented is now available on the LBMA website. So that's the only place you can get it right now. So just go to thelbma.com /research, and you'll see it there. It's the top thing in the list.
Is there anything that was? I heard some good things about it. Was there anything that stood out for you, or was it?
I won't say that anything that really jumped out at me. I think some of the interesting things were that when you look at men and women, there were some almost equal representation there in terms of using these services. I think there were some interesting things when you looked at one of the things that we don't hear a lot about is they compared small towns versus big cities, and what was going on from that perspective, as well as the rural areas as much as big cities, and kind of looking at check-in factors there. The demographics that Decode looks at are kind of young people, so they're exclusively focused on that kind of like 18 to 34 demographic. So it's only that market. Anyhow,
well,
take a look at it.
Well, yeah, I heard good things about it. So thelbma.com /research, and it's called Decoding Location-Based Marketing by Decode.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Good resource. Well, I'm glad we got through this. And we did. Episode number 36. Nailed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the deal episode. And hopefully next week what we're seeing out there is a little bit more diversity in the news that happens. But there's a reason that I don't know what it is. It's some cosmic thing that everything lands in the same day or the same week. The same way that we always discuss that, there's clusters of services that get launched for some reason on the same day or the same month, and this is just one of those episodes. It's the deal episode, and hopefully we'll see some diversity next week.
Consolidation or death.
Consolidation and death. I love it. All right, so if you've got any feedback about this episode, if you want to be a part of this in any way, shape, or form, you can reach out. Obviously, you can reach Asif at thelbma.com, and you can reach myself at untether@gmail.com if you've got any comments, suggestions, if you've got a resource for us or a product for us that you'd like us to highlight. If you're in the middle of a deal and you want us to know about it, we'll push it out. We can embargo those things, but let us know at those email addresses. We love to hear from you guys. Every single email that is sent to us gets a response, and a positive one, not just a blunt yes or no or thank you. We really appreciate the feedback that we've received so far. Thank you so much. 36 episodes in, and we love doing this, and we hope that it shows, right? See, I love doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I love doing it. It's a lot of fun.
We wouldn't be doing this at 11 o'clock at night on a Monday night if we didn't love doing this. That's what I say.
Yeah.
So on behalf of myself, Rob Woodbridge from Untethered.tv, and Asif Khan from the LVMA.com, this is episode number 36. We can't wait to bring you next week's episode number 37. Thank you for watching. Asif, buddy, we'll see you next week.
Thanks.